is very interesting live stream because so the C3 plant student, it is also known as Calvin's. Okay, whereas the C4 plants, they are also known as Hatch and Slack cycle. Okay, the second difference between the C3 plants and the C4 plant is that in case of the C3 plant, the carbon dioxide acceptor is ribulose 1,5-diphosphate. Okay, whereas in case of C4 plant student, the carbon dioxide acceptor is a phosphoenol pyruvate. Okay, student. The third difference between the C3 plants and the C4 plant is in terms of the first stable product. Okay, so the first stable product in the C3 cycle is phosphoglyceric acid, that is also known as PGA, phosphoglyceric acid. Whereas in the C4 plant student, the first stable product is the oxaloacetate. Okay, now the fourth difference between the C3 and the C4 plant is that in terms of the types of chlorophyll. Okay, so in C3 plant student, all the cells that participate in the photosynthesis, they will have one type of chloroplast. Okay, whereas student, for the C4 plant, the chloroplast of parenchymatous bundle sheath cell is different from the mesophyll cell. So there will be different mesophyll cells and in the bundle sheath cells. Okay, so what kind of cell are present in the this is the fourth difference student. The fifth difference between the C3 plant and the C4 plant is that the C3 plant, the Cran's anatomy. Okay, so the C3 plant will lack the Cran's anatomy, whereas the C4 plant, they will have the leaves will have the Cran's anatomy. Okay, so this is the fifth difference student. Now the sixth difference student, this is very important lecture, so just listen it carefully. I try to take so many differences between C3 and C4 plants. Okay, so the fifth difference is in terms of the reductive pentose phosphate cycle. Okay, so the reductive pentose phosphate cycle, it is found only in C3 plant. Okay, so they will exhibit the reductive pentose phosphate cycle. Okay, whereas the C4 plant student, they will have both kind of cycle, that is the C4 dicarboxylic acid, as well as they will have the reductive pentose phosphate cycle also. Okay, the pentose phosphate cycle, PP cycle we will write. The sixth difference student between the C3 and the C4 plant is that the C3 plant, they will have the optimum temperature for the process is 10 to 25 degrees Celsius. So for better performing, okay, of the plant or the leaf or the process of the photosynthesis, okay, all the physiological process, the optimal temperature for C3 plant ranges between 10 to 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, whereas the C4, they will have the specialized mechanism. Okay, because the optimal temperature for the functioning is 30 to 45 degrees Celsius. Okay, so you can see like the normal temperature for C3 plant is lesser as compared to the C4 plant. Okay, so this is also one of the major difference. So this is the seventh difference. Now let's talk about the photo system. Okay, students, the photo system, if we talk about, then in the C3 plant, in each chloroplast there will be photosystem 1 as well as the photosystem 2. Okay, whereas we already discussed that in the bundle sheath cell, okay, in the C4 plant they will lack the grana. Okay, so in bundle sheath cell only photosynthesis 2 is absent in case of C4 plant. Okay, so this is the 8th difference, student. The ninth difference, student, between the C3 plants and the C4 plant is that the Calvin cycle enzymes, they are present in mesophyll chloroplast. Okay, so Calvin cycle enzymes, where they are present? They are present in the mesophyll chloroplast. Okay, okay, student. Whereas in case of C4 plant, they are absent in the mesophyll chloroplast. Okay, and this cycle is occurring in the chloroplast of sheath cell. Okay, so the Calvin cycle is taking place in the sheath cell. Okay, now we are talking about the 10th difference. So if we talk about the carbon dioxide compensation point, okay, so for C3, the carbon dioxide compensation point will be 50 to 150 ppm. Okay, students. However, for the C4 plant, the carbon dioxide compensation point is quite low and it is between 0 to 10 ppm. Okay. Now, if we talk about the 11 difference, student, let me, okay. So, the 11 difference between C3 and the C4 plant is that the photorespiration is present and easily detectable in case of C3 plant. Okay. So, photorespiration can be easily detected, okay, in C3 plant. However, in C4 plant, the photorespiration, it will occur, okay, students, only to a slight degree. Therefore, it is difficult to detect. Okay, so this is the 11 difference, student. The difference is in terms of the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, so for the C3 plant, the rate of photosynthesis, we are denoting it by Pn. Okay, this is very low. Okay, so they are less productive, students. Okay, whereas the net photosynthetic rate is quite high. Okay, in the C4 plants. So what do you mean by the net rate of photosynthesis? It will reflect the amount of food prepared using the photosynthetic process. Okay, so this will display the efficiency of the plant also. So C3 plant, the lesser net photosynthetic rate is showing that they are less efficient. However, so student, I will close after the 14th point. So let's discuss the 13th point. The 13th point is that the 89% of the world flora, student, okay, they are C3 plants. However, the C4 plants, they will just represent only less than 1% of the world flora. Okay, so if they are more, student, then it is quite obvious that they are widely spread. Okay, so they are less, okay, in number, and they are restricted to hot and open grassland. Okay, and the last difference, student, between the C3 and the C4 plant is that, student, the example. So we are trying to learn the example. So say the rice, the potato. Okay, so these are the example of, student, C3 plant. whereas the maize, okay, millet, sugarcane,